Hey guys, it's Alexis. I am back with a brand new video. Today, talking about the things I always talk about: creating your reality, manifesting your relationship. And today I'm going to use manifestation of money and finances and abundance to wrap it in as a new example with your SP and with your relationship. Okay, so I haven't done this before, but it's a common question that I get asked a lot about the manifestation of. You guys, Logan keeps on appearing, trying to make an appearance in my videos. Today, he's got an avocado from our avocado tree that my husband got him to grab for the first time. So he's at the window with the avocado tree. If you're one of my one-on-one clients, you know that my son Logan sometimes likes to say hi, and today he's trying to say hi to everyone. It would disrupt the video if I move the video over there, so I'm not going to do that. But you guys, he's saying hello, okay? So let's talk about this, but let's talk about how do you really manifest a change in your relationship, a change with your SP, a change with any area. And perhaps I'm going to use the example of health and wellness, fitness, body reconfiguration, something like that, as a new way to talk about the same thing I talk about, which is your concept of you, which forms your concept of your person and forms your concept of your relationship. Okay. Before, I just can't get it out of my mind. I'm in between getting my colors done, and my hair right now is super blonde. If you notice that it's like super blonde, it's not here to stay. But I'm here to do the video regardless of my hair color. Okay. So let's talk about this and let's think about it. Okay. So the example I'm going to use, oh, wait, before I forget my usual spiel. If you want to book one-on-one coaching with me, please look for the details in the box below, as well as one-on-one hypnosis. If you do not see something available on my online calendar when you look me up, please email us at sessions@createyourfuture.co. Put in the subject line, booking with Alexis. We'll get you sorted for your time zone and something that works for you to get you one-on-one guidance. Okay. So, the big question is, how do we get the massive movement? How do we get the massive change in our reality? And you guys know what I'm going to say at this point, right? It all comes down to you. Let's reiterate and let's focus on the basics, is that you create your reality, you and who you're showing up as for you, about you within you, creates your thoughts of other people and your thoughts about things, and then therefore it projects into your reality. That's what's going on. Okay. So, this applies to everything. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to manifest a change in your finances, a change in abundance, like let's say you're frustrated with where you're at financially. Let me paint a picture of a person like I did in the last video, and everyone said that was so helpful. Her name this time is going to be Deborah. So I might call her Deb for short. Okay. If you're one of my one-on-one clients, you know that I like to know your nickname because I like to call you what you want to be called. So Miss Deborah, let's say Miss Deborah has been really, really frustrated in an uphill battle with her finances, with money, with saving money and keeping money. And what will oftentimes happen is she will manifest a raise, she'll manifest a gift, she'll manifest something coming in, and then all of a sudden unexpected expenses and bills will arise, and she will just feel like she can't keep a savings. She is just can't figure this out. It feels so difficult. And she also just doesn't really like what she does. So she's not really waking up having a sense of purpose, conviction for bringing money in. Because you know what money is? In theory, it's an exchange for a service. It's an energetic exchange for goods or services or something. That's what we have built into our 3D reality, is a monetary aspect that is at the basis of most things, right? Except for free stuff, right? And I mean, someone even said to me like last week, like the best things in life are free. And I tend to agree with that most of the time. Okay. So anyways, let's go back to Debbie. She's got all this going on, you guys. And she's like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this way. I'm doing this incorrectly. What's going on? How do I find, how do I keep the money that I'm getting, is something that I've heard a lot of people say over the years, is how do I keep it? Why do I get all these unexpected expenses? Whatever. So let's say that Debbie also stumbles upon some conscious creation. She watches some videos. She understands I create my reality and I create my experience, and I am if I can create whatever I want, right? If I can manifest whatever I want, if I can bring into my awareness a bunch of money, I'm just going to manifest winning the lotto, right? This is what I've heard a lot from people. I'm going to manifest, Alexis, can I manifest winning the lotto? Alexis, can I manifest just getting a bunch of money in? Okay. And this is the same thing with your specific person. Can I manifest him or her to be this? Can I just manifest them to be like this? Can I? And my answer is yes, yes, yes. But the answer is not what you're going to think it is. All right. Anyways, so it's like, can I manifest a bunch of money? Can I manifest winning the lottery? Can I manifest like just a bunch of money from the middle of nowhere coming in, landing in my reality? Can I create that my bank account is yada, 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 yada? And it's like, yes, you absolutely can. Anything is possible. Anything that you can think of as an idea is therefore possible. There are no limitations to what you can create, and what's possible for you. Okay. How do I know that to be true? It's through research and studying, and it's lots of years of experience talking to people about their what they see as unsurmountable circumstances in their 3D reality, that they then come and tell me that the unsurmountable circumstances have dissolved. Okay. And like, you guys, you know, when people book sessions and they talk about things, I've said a lot, I often have heard in my career the worst of the worst. I've often been, you know, like people have tried a lot of things and then they book sessions with me, or they've tried other stuff and then they just want to see my perspective on what's going on with them. They get on the mental diet, they get on the appropriate thoughts of self, the thoughts of the stuff, and it shifts and changes. It's like, I've heard crazy things over the years. And from those same people, I have heard a change in the people in their reality. I have heard a change in their circumstances. I've heard changes and success stories about things that I don't even know if I could take on. Me, Alexis, okay? That's why my clients are warriors. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are so brave. And I love you so much because you show up for yourselves and you really put the work in. Okay? So in any event, let's go back to Debbie, right? Let's go back to Deb and be like, okay, so let's say she's talking to me and she's like, okay, really just got to manifest a bunch of money. It's got to come in. I got to get this thing sorted out. I can't be like this. So I just want a bunch of money to land in. Well, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, okay, Debbie, so you can have that. It's possible. You can have money come out of nowhere, but you have to change the core thoughts of self and the story of self about money and abundance. Because what's going to happen? Let's say a bunch of money comes in, right? She's going, unless she changes those things and she's just creating, right? Money comes to me, so much money, I'm receiving large sums of money. What's going to happen? The old story is going to come in because that's what the mind creates, is more of the same. So she's going to get this windfall of money, this bunch of money. Guess what's going to happen? Probably something will happen. Unexpected expenses. She'll be back to 0.00 or whatever, because that's what she's created. Do you see what I mean? So now the question is, what do we do? What does Debbie have to change? Now, Debbie just needs to choose differently about herself, about the whole scenario. A practice like mental diet for Debbie. There was someone that wrote in a video comment that they like it when I go off on like a rampage or like, what would the mental diet be for this? You guys, I'm answering this. This is what you would want to do. If you are Debbie, you are Deborah, and you can use this for your specific person. It's asking yourself inherently, who am I being? Who am I deciding I am? Who am I thinking I am? Who am I deciding I am? Who am I thinking I am? Right? And without being so hypercritical about how all of us are raised in our 3D reality at this point, most people have not been taught and have not been trained to celebrate themselves, see themselves as their own personal avatar, have some fun, and be happy and excited to be themselves every day. Instead, we tend to view ourselves with the lack of who we are, the lack of what we're creating, the lack of our circumstances, yada, 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 yada. And that's the easy fallback default system for almost everybody, okay? Almost all of us have had a critical voice, overthinking, a hyper critical parent, someone that, put us down or wasn't so supportive. So therefore we have inherently inherited and just taken on that voice. Okay. Well, I'm here to tell you, your inner voice about you, for you, with you, is the most important part of whatever you're manifesting. So what does Debbie need to think? She needs to think like, I am getting so great with money and abundance and finances. I am developing a wonderful relationship with money because I am learning how to love and appreciate and like money. So therefore, money is learning how to love and appreciate and like me. Okay. What else would she need? You guys want to throw some into the comments? What do you think she would need to think about herself, right? Like, I have a great relationship with money. I'm great at keeping money. I'm great at saving money. It is so wonderful. And it's so great to learn that I can change my relationship with money. Now, let's go back to what I've said in other videos, the analogies of the lanes, right? There's the lane of what is wanted, the lane of what is not wanted. What is not wanted of the mind is, I just can't keep money. Money just doesn't stick around for me. Money is so much like love. It just doesn't show up and stay. I just can't keep anything. I have it at first and then it goes away. That would be all the unwanted. The wanted would be more self-talk. Now, this self-talk is also not one size fits all. Like I've said in all the videos, it is not one size fits all because you have an inherent way of learning, interpreting reality in a way that you talk to yourself. Okay. So someone that talks in a more descriptive fashion, these are my over analytical thinkers usually, would be thinking of the wanted would be like what I said. A new story would not just be like I love money. I got a bunch of money. I'm great with money. No, you want to be more talking to yourself like this, like I said, in a conversation with self kind of way, which is like, I am learning and I'm figuring out how to develop a great relationship with myself, with money, with all of it. I am just figuring out that whatever I need, whatever I want, all of my needs are financially met. All of my needs and all of my wants are always financially met. So therefore, that means that small amounts of money, large amounts of money, they're all coming to me because I am a great money maker. I'm a great money manifester. I'm great at doing this. Instead of, I'm not so great at doing this, manifest a bunch of money. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to change your thoughts about self. Okay. So you can apply this to your specific person. How does this apply to your SP? How does this apply to your health? And then you can rope in the finances, which I already said. With your specific person, because a lot of people come here for the weekly relationship manifestation talk. Okay. So, and someone said to me this week, like, I've watched all 230 of your videos. I just put them on. So I guess that's the number I'm at. I still got to look on our YouTube to see how many friggin' videos do I have. I forgot at this point. So anyways, all I do is try to focus on what's the video this week going to be about? How am I going to spin the same scenario, the same information in a new way? Okay. Now with your specific person, just like with money, what you don't want to do is this, have like a bunch of affirmations and an over-focused perspective on the person. It's got to come from instead, who am I? What's my self-esteem, my confidence, my opinion about myself in this scenario? Okay. So if your opinion about yourself in love and relationships has always been like, you have to be the pursuer, you have to call, you have to make it happen, you have to do something, you have to say the right thing and do the right thing and walk on eggshells, you have to be adhering to what they want, right? Like, I am just going along with whatever they want. I am never really receiving the love. I'm not really receiving the affection. I receive some things, but not the whole thing. Let's say that's your inner talk. You want to be thinking, no, I'm valuable. I'm learning how to be totally and completely valuable with myself, about myself, in my own mind and in my reality. I am learning how to figure this out. The way that I'm saying the mental diet today is more descriptive. I'm going to say, if you don't like it, then take out some words and make it more direct. What I have found over the years too, like I remember when I first did affirmations, okay, I was way too much in my head and too much of an over analytical person. That one word affirmations didn't work for me. And then I studied hypnotherapy and the subconscious mind. And I learned that not everybody can interpret reality through direct inner thinking like me. Okay. So if you're like me, these are for you guys. Okay. So you want to be thinking like, no, I am really learning that all the time I am more than enough. Everything I do is more than enough. He or she thinks that I am like way more than good enough. I am so learning how to be so valuable. Okay, so those are all the affirmations of self that you would need to be doing while you change the story of them. Like, they like me, they want me, they're wanting me more and more each and every day. They're liking me more and more every day. They choose me unequivocally. Their heart is open to love for me, whatever is particular to your scenario. Okay, so, and you can't overlook what's been happening in your reality. You also want to make your mental diet about you and your person, me and them and where we're at, based upon the easiest route is the route of least resistance. Okay. Like, so if the person has had like emotion, like let's take something that I hear a lot. He's had emotional trauma. He's been through a divorce. He's closed himself off to love. He doesn't know what he wants. He's not open to commitment because he doesn't want the same thing to happen. Now, if Deborah also had this going on, I would say, Deb, you got to really focus on, he's healed from his past. He's healing more and more from his past. He's finding help to heal from his past. His heart is open to love and love with me only. He sees it can be different for me. He sees how amazing I am. I see how amazing I am, along with the self-affirmations. Okay. So the other thing that you do not want to do is when you're in a crisis mode, you guys, like when you're like, oh, I feel bad today. I feel bad now in the day. Then you focus on the chosen mental diet. Like I'm giving the example. No, you want to be focusing on as many moments throughout the day, 3 times, 5 times, what, yada, yada, yada. This is the story that I'm imprinting on myself and my mind. Okay. The other thing I want to address is you want to stop taking actions that don't support the manifestation. This is more for specific people and relationships than it is for money and finances. Okay. Because if you are engaging in discussing things about your person, with your person, the version of your person that you don't want, you don't like, and you're complaining about them to other people, I've said this in a lot of videos, your mind is just hearing that that's who they are. And then you're doing affirmations, and that's not going to be, they're counteractive, right? So you need to stop doing things and engaging in behavior that doesn't support what you want. Like if you're dropping everything and being available for your SP because you think I am manifesting them, this is my reality, I get to do what I want, I'm just going to be available. Actually, you don't want to do that. If this is your reality and you create your reality and you get to choose, you want to be like, no, guess what? I'm done dropping my routine. I am done putting them before me. I'm putting myself first, and therefore they put me first too. And we are in that cocoon of love and happiness where I am in control. I am confident. I'm empowered. I have my self-esteem, and they follow my choice and my inner boundary. This is how we're doing this now. Okay. Wow. So I just kind of went into like my coach voice right there, right? Because you guys need to hear this. Okay. And I will tell you one-on-one, like if you're doing behavior in your reality that it's like, oh, but I heard this is my reality, I got to do what I want. I'll say, yeah, if it's your reality and you get to do what you want, stop doing things that don't help you. Stop taking action, being available, sending messages, looky-loo on the person on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, blah, 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 right? I am here to be your mentor and your manifestation BFF and to get your relationship on track. But if you guys know me, I am pretty direct and to the point. I'm not going to beat around the bush, and I do not say things I don't mean. Okay. So also, hey, I want to throw in something too. If you are coming to me for a session, whether a seasoned client or a new client, please make sure before you enter the room that you have your recording for the session figured out if you choose to record me. We are not legally allowed to send the recordings. So if you can figure out just how to press record on your phone or a separate device, that is really helpful, because in session in 45 minutes, I'm saying so many things. Like if I was you, I would want to record me because it's particular to your situation. Also, bring a notepad, bring a pen, bring something that you can take notes with. If as an ad hoc to the recording, you want to write down affirmations. I do not send messages during session. I expect you to write them down and be active, and it's helpful for both of us if you take your own notes. Okay. I no longer send affirmations in the chat because people weren't engaged. So because people didn't put the work in, I changed my policy. I don't do that anymore. Even if I allowed you to, we're not doing that anymore. Okay. So bring a notebook, bring a pen, and come open and ready for me to tell you what I think you should do, because that's how I am. Okay. I want you always to get the most out of coaching with me. And those are ways that you can set yourself up for success. The other way you can set yourself up for success is start deciding who you want to be and tell me about who you want to be. Not like I want to be the person who is called. I want to be the person he text messages. I want to be the person that has, all of his love. No, I want you to tell me about who are you. If you're the one receiving love, what's your concept of self? Okay. And if you have a hard time figuring it out, I will give you homework. I'm often giving clients homework that is particular to them, but I thought that the PSA had to be said about the recording because I want you guys to have that figured out. Okay. And I am not able to provide technical assistance. I am here to provide coaching. All right. So you guys really have to hone in on who are you being? Who are you being? Like I say in every video, along with who are they being? Who do I choose the person to be? Okay. Now, none of this is manipulation. Okay. None of this goes against anything besides the idea, and you are not changing anyone. Okay. I got asked in a video, it was so cute, this comment about I sometimes wear crosses like as a chain. Okay. And how do I rectify my spiritual beliefs with the manifestation idea? And then the person had people, unfortunately, in their reality that were saying you can't change people. People are set in stone, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I'm going to answer that. I hadn't actually planned on it. I had kind of forgotten it. I do like how crosses look for fashion reasons, to be honest. I love how crosses and multiple crosses look in jewelry, especially if they're high end, etc. So that is something that is about like my fashion sense. But I, Alexis, was raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. And later in my life, I found the teachings of Christ. I found, I had a very big spiritual awakening in my early to mid 30s. And I found the teachings of Christ. I had by that point studied a lot of different things. I've always been a spiritual seeker that was always seeking outside the confines of my family. And even though I was raised Catholic, I was not, and confirmed in all those things. We weren't like a highly spiritual practicing family. We went to church on Easter and things like that. So I was not in, just to be clear, I was not raised in something where my parents were reading the Bible, taking me to Sunday school. It wasn't that intense. Okay. So I was always reading the teachings of Buddha. I learned meditation when I was like 12. I've always kind of been on a path that's been existential, spiritual in nature. Okay. And the biggest influence on that was my grandfather, because he was a yogi back in the 50s and the 60s. And then if you don't know that about me, I used to teach yoga. I no longer do, but and he was a psychologist. So he had a big influence on me as a person. And as a young one, I realized now. Okay. So in any event, how do I intermingle the teachings of the Bible with what I'm talking about here in conscious creation, conscious manifestation? It is this. It is that we're not changing people. You are just rejigging, you are refocusing, and you are sending a prayer for the person and seeing them in a positive light. And then therefore, that's how they show up as. If you really look at how, it's what I love about Neville Goddard and what he talks about the Bible, he really picks it apart and has a different interpretation for the teachings of Christ, the teachings of the Bible. Okay. So I am not like a diehard Catholic or a diehard Christian now. Funnily enough, I found out years later that ethnically, I have a high percentage of Jewish in my lineage that I was not raised with. Okay. But I had all my friends growing up were Jewish, and I went to all of the Passover, the bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. That was also part of my childhood, which is kind of funny, right? So now I see the existence of the spiritual teachings in everything. I've read parts of the Hindu faith with the Bhagavad Gita. I have read the Bible. I have read the Old Testament, the New Testament, those kinds of things. And I do think if we pick it apart, we can see that the conscious creation with love of self and being the creator, being the essence of God in a human form, is something that is interspersed in all those teachings. So I hope I'm answering that question. I do not see that they're separate, but you know what I really wouldn't recommend is talking to people who are religious or who are practicing devoutly, because they're going to usually say things about this is manipulation, and they're going to reflect an insecurity about the conscious creation practice, which isn't what we're doing here. We are shifting and changing how we think and how we see people and see circumstances, seeing the outer reality within, and then therefore it allows people to not be obligated anymore to be the versions of them that they've been. It's like saying constant prayers for everyone. No one is going to disagree with that. If you think about that, thoughts are things, thoughts create, and that thoughts create a prayer. Oh my gosh, this video is so long. I have a client in 5 minutes. Apparently, you guys wanted to hear about this. Okay. So in any event, you know, that's how I see it. I don't see it as so different. I don't see it as doing something wrong. I don't see it as manipulation, and I don't see it as changing people. There have been studies where when people engaged in prayer, engaged in thought transmission, that it affected things. Okay. So that's been seen in the messages in water. I think it was Masaru. I'm forgetting the guy's name, the Japanese guy that did the thought transmission to water, and the molecular structure of water changed. Well, guess what? As we all know, we are mostly water. Okay. So in any event, that's my answer. And I hope that I intend that it makes sense and that it helps you feel like you can have self-acceptance on your journey, because either way, you're on a journey of evolvement and growth, and all the spiritual teachings would say that, right? We are here to grow and learn and evolve, but you're not changing anybody. You're viewing them differently. You're sending them thought prayers, thought messages. How wonderful is that? Like, how cool are you to be doing this? All right. Oh my gosh, you guys, this video has been all around the mulberry bush. I got to figure out what I'm going to call it. Okay. I love you guys so much. Remember to celebrate yourselves today and every day. You are the center of your reality. You are the most important person. So be your own avatar. Think of yourself highly. I wish you guys could see my son and Logan just out here living up life on the jungle gym. Okay. Okay. In any event, you're the most important person in your reality. You and how you feel about you in each and every situation reigns supreme. So let's remember that this week. Start this all off on a good note and have a great time. Okay. I love you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.